All right, going live in 3, 2, 1. Well, this is Olivia on Air. We're up to episode 32. How are you doing, Olivia?
I'm doing well. I've been craving one of those iced tea lemonade combos. Like I think they're called the Arnold Palmer drink, but I
Sounds
don't know where to
familiar.
get one.
It sounds familiar. I've never tried one. Is it something you've had before?
Yeah, I've had it a few times, but for some reason I really just want one. Um, Probably the grocery store, honestly. Just
Hmm.
haven't been in a while.
The is what is the difference between that and a regular drink of sorts? What would be so special about that?
Well, nothing really special. I just know that it's like half lemonade, half iced tea, and it's like really popular with like old people. No
Hmm.
offense to old people. It's just it's popular among the older crowd because it's good, because it's delicious. Um I want one. That's all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Does it make you feel better, like physically, emotionally, or what?
Probably emotionally.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like if you have something tasty to eat, it's going to make you feel better emotionally.
And what is it? What does it have any specific? What, could you describe the taste? I'm just curious what it tastes like.
Well, I mean, it really is just iced tea and lemonade. Like, if you've had black tea, like black iced tea, and
Mhm.
also lemonade, just imagine those flavors combined, and that's exactly what it is. It's pretty good.
Oh,
It's
okay,
a little sweet, and it has a little bit of like it's like sweet and sour. Not too sour, but you know.
okay. Oh, it's well, if I ever get a chance, maybe I'll take a sip myself if I can find some of that. So,
It usually has, because I'm pretty sure it's named after Arnold Palmer, I think, or I don't know. And he was like a pro golfer and he popularized the drink, I guess. And his name was Arnold Palmer. And so it has a golfer person on it.
yeah, I'm not sure who he is. So,
Neither
it's
am I. I just know him from the tea.
the Paul Newman has a what is Paul Newman? I know he's an actor, but Paul Newman has a drink or something, doesn't he?
He has a brand. It's Newman's Own. I like their pasta sauce. I don't know why he's in the business of pasta sauce and other things, but I see his face all over the grocery store. He's got a lot going on for someone
Yeah,
who's like not here anymore.
yeah. I couldn't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember seeing his face, and I was like, yeah, I couldn't remember what I saw it on. So, it's another person that has a name his name on food that's out there. So he's not like a food person per se, but he has a food brand, I guess you could say. I guess
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
So
And the pasta sauce is pretty good. And I know that they donate like a percentage of the profits that they make from Newman's Own brand to charity. I'm not sure what charity, but something.
hmm, okay. Well, before we go too far, we got OD saying good evening, Zmoon. It's a pleasure to listen to your show again, Olivia.
Oh, good evening.
And before we go too far, just remind everybody if you'd like to support what we're doing, we have an affiliate link in the description for NordVPN. That's a product that I endorse. I've been endorsing it several times, and I think it's a pretty decent product if you're trying to protect your identity, hide your location, trying to keep people from gathering your data. It works pretty well for most of that. The As if you want to watch videos from other parts of the world, and where your streaming is blocked, where you can't watch it, you can use that to watch those kind of special streaming services. And the link will give you a discounted rate. I know it's better than the regular rate, and if you do decide to buy that, that supports what we're doing, and we really appreciate that. So,
Thank you.
before we go too far, since we're going to be talking about another movie about cars tonight, I thought I'd bring up a video for you to look at, and I would. It's about a car, but it's a little different. I don't know all the background for this video, but I think you'll like it. The This is what I'm going to do is let me bring it up here so we can see this. Give me 1 second. I had to turn the video off. This is actually from another YouTube channel, so we have to give them credit. Oops. Oh, here we go. I'm going to turn the audio down. So basically, what I'm going to show you is a woman brought a car in to be repaired. And the channel this is, so I give them full credit, is Car Hacks. So if you want to check out the full video, you can see it over there. So woman brings her car in to be repaired. The technician is about to look at it. And what I would like you to do, Olivia, is to look at it and see if you can tell what's wrong with the vehicle. So, and just for fun, nothing serious here. So you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Actually, I'll try to make this a little bit bigger. Oops, there we go. That's better. So here we go. There we go.
Oh my God. You know, I've seen a few videos like that.
And then there's the woman. That's her. I guess it was her cat. so, so, by the way, there's no audio, so I just want to. That's the entire video. So
That's funny. Yeah, I've seen a few where a cat finds its way, or like a raccoon or something, somehow finds its way into the engine of the car. I mean, I know that cats really like warm places, so that might be, but that I feel like that'd be way too hot. I don't get it.
yeah, I think it's probably that, and probably also the fact that what they're doing is they're crawling from underneath, and they think it's like a place where they can be hidden and secluded. They don't realize that there's a hood there that can be expose them real easily. So they think they're in a really well hidden location. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
they could probably go there when the engine's maybe just turned off, maybe so they feel a little bit of warmth, or maybe the engine's completely cold. They're just looking for a place to hide.
that
So
makes sense.
and I'll play you one more video. Let's see, this one's also from Car Hacks, the same YouTube channel. I think you'll like this one as well. There we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. So the woman goes to open the hood. And this time we have multiple cats.
Oh my God, that's so many. Jeez.
So anyway, I thought I'd get a kick out of those. So I had a cat story myself when I was several years ago when I was working on cars. When I was much younger. The one of the mechanics told me a story where a car was brought in and they opened the engine compartment and there was a cat inside the engine compartment like that, but curled up in a off to the side and was terrified. I guess the engine was still running and the cat was just all curled up and like afraid to move because it just couldn't it didn't know what to do. It was just, and so from what I understood, the cat was not hurt or anything, just extremely terrified. So
That's sad. I wonder if there are any like car companies that have thought of ways to make it less enticing for cats and small animals to crawl into the engine areas of cars.
I mean, it'd be kind of hard to do. The only thing I could think of is maybe two things. If they were to maybe seal it off a little better, which would be kind of hard to do because you need to have proper ventilation for the engine and everything. But the other thing you might be able to do is put you probably heard of these, like a device of some kind that would emanate a sound so that that's an ultrasonic sound that only smaller animals can hear, which would drive them away. So
That makes sense, yeah.
and that way they would be completely annoyed by it, and that way they wouldn't want to be in there. So those are the only two ways I could think. The first one, yeah, I probably wouldn't work very well, only because it just be you want that, not necessarily ventilation, but also access to the underside of the car. And if you block the whole part off, underside off, it'd make it a little bit harder to get to access to the car. So
Right.
for repairs and everything. So OD came back, said, Zoom in, OD are the initials of my name. My first name is Oliver, and I have a sister called Olivia. Oh, what a coincidence. But you can call me OD. Cool.
That is a coincidence. My parents weren't quite sure if I was going to be a boy or a girl, and so they if I was a boy, they would have named me Olivia or Oliver.
Oh, wow, look at that. Even more of a coincidence. What do you think about that? Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. So, alrighty, well, let's take a look at our question from last week. Let me see when I bring it up. It was, how do you feel about cars? And I'm still trying to bring it up here. Give me a second. Oops, am I on the right channel? Give me a second here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You got we got a nice response. I'm about to bring it up here so you can see it as well. Okay, so how do you feel about cars? 2,100 votes, and 56% say I know the brands, but not much else. Next, we got 20% with I'm a total car person, 9% with I don't care about cars, 8% with I know a lot about them, but I'm not obsessed, and 7% I just used cars to get places. I use cars to get to places. Yeah. So, how do you feel about that?
That makes sense. I feel like a lot of people are in the like I know the brands kind of zone.
I've had people who say they can look at a car and they cannot identify what a car is at all. They have they have not even the brands or anything. They just are completely blind to what cars are. So I will say that newer cars are kind of hard to tell the difference because they look a lot more the same than say the ones say from like the 80s and older. So starting with the 90s and newer, cars just started to look a lot more the same. And I think it's because they put them through wind tunnels and aerodynamics make them look, and the wind tunnels just make them give that same kind of look. I think that's the main reason for that. So
That makes sense.
yeah. So looking at our answers, I have, let's see, is that Leo? Hold on a second, let me bring my magnifier up here. I think it's Leo. Yeah, Leo with a 0, it looks like. I have a Lamborghini RC. I wonder if that means remote control. So let's see. Waddy Gamer says not affordable with a little tear. Oh, sorry. Hanar Omar says I'm into cars very much, but I don't care no brand names, models. The thing is, it does not. It does. I'm sorry. The thing it does is more important than who it is from. Okay. Andrew Zabinden says I'm more into Hot Wheels. You know, the there's also Matchbox cars as well, which I saw a video within the past couple of years, and they said they did a test, and they said Hot Wheels are the more superior of the two. If you were to choose a brand, as far as construction, they're actually designed much better, even though they're actually both owned by the same company. So
Interesting. They're like 99 cents. Except if you want like a good one,
mhm.
like one of the really nice ones.
Yeah, I used to collect those. In fact, out of the things I had from when I was a kid, that's one of the few things I actually still have are my little collection of Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars from way, way long ago. So, and they
Cool.
still not rotted out or anything. Still in pretty good shape. Daniel Rogers says I'm a big fan of cars. Let's see. Why? Kiss Best Fan says I own 4 cars. Count on me into patrol. Count me into the Petro Head Club of the moons of subscribers. However, all of them are quite old. 1992, 93, 2001, and 2003. Interesting. I would have to say my cars are, have you beat by age? My cars are 1965, 1965, 1966, 1967, 1967, 1968, 1974, 1974, 1975, 1978, 1989, 1989, and I'm trying to remember 2001 and 2021. So there we go.
Cool. What's the 2001 one?
That's a police car. It's a Crown Victoria. It's it was a police car from a town near Allentown, Pennsylvania. It was a former police car. So I bought it from a used car dealer that was right on the corner from where I live. It's not, it still says Police Interceptor on the back, but it's painted a solid green now. So,
Ooh, that's cool.
Lee, Leonidas, I don't know how to say that. Toyota Hayes, not sure how to pronounce that. By the way, I did look this one up just before we went live, and this is a car that I believe it's a vehicle. It's like a little minivan. I believe this vehicle is actually not made in the United States. I think it's specific to another country, and I don't know which country. So, the reason I looked it up because I'd never heard of it before, and when I saw it, it definitely looks very unique. So, in fact, let me just for the heck of it, I'll go ahead and see here. You can see what it looks like. See if you've ever seen this. If you think it's also unique. Let's see here. bring up my Google thing. Here we go. All right, here we go. There it is right there. Have you ever seen one of those?
That is unique. It reminds me of the United Kingdom. I don't know why. That
Yeah,
just looks like the UK to me.
yeah. It might be. But I don't know where it's from, but it very well might be from the United Kingdom. It looks like right-hand drive for sure. So it limits the number of countries. So it's either United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and South Africa. Those are the only countries I know that have right-hand drive cars off the top of my head.
Interesting.
So cool. Alrighty, get back to our thing here. Renegade MS says, F automobiles, locomotives all day, every day. A big little frowny face. It says utilizer. I can't see what this says. No, utilizator. Not sure what that says. Can I select multiple answer? My situation is true only if I. Okay, need my thing again. Sorry, bring it back up. If I selectable answers. Unfortunately they only let you pick one answer, so you have to leave your other response in the comments. So, my car is a Camry 2012. I bought it 0 kilometers. Pretty good car. That's cool. Vroom vroom from Norbert 011. Well, I'm a car. Random person. Russian name, don't know how to pronounce. Says I am a mechanic. Cool. And OD, did we look at this one? We might have read this one already. It says, nowadays I just know the basics, and sincerely I have no interest because I've got enough coin to have cars as a hobby. But in the future, when I become rich, I will definitely begin a collection of cars, and then I will intend to go more into the complex things. Cool. So,
Cars is definitely like probably one of the most expensive hobbies you can have.
It depends. Yeah. If you like me, I have a whole bunch of cars, but I got them when they were pretty cheap. So, I mean, when I used to, I had the advantage of actually working in shops when I was much younger for about 6 years of my life. So, like, if a customer came in and they didn't want the car, they would throw it out. I would ask them if I could have it, and they said sure, and they would sign the title over to me. So I'd have it. I got it for free. So,
That's cool.
and I got a few cars that way. I got rid of some of them as well. I also I would also look around for cars that were at the time which were dirt cheap. That would be nowadays it would cost a lot more. So like I bought one car for $100 that was being towed away for junk. It was a '67 Mustang Fastback. If the funny part is, if I sell it today, it's not. It's not. It needs to be still has to be fixed up. But I bought it so long ago that the price was so cheap that if I sold it nowadays, I could probably get about $25,000 for it on eBay. So
That's good.
because it's a collector's car. That's if I fix it up, I could probably get like maybe 100,000 for it, maybe if I'm lucky. So let's see. Wadi Gamer says, "Sup Zmoon. I've been following your channel for more than 8 years. I always wanted to thank you about your contribution towards San Andreas. Great podcast, and besides, great podcast. Those besides gaming. Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you." And Odie says, "Zmoon, are you kidding? $100 for a car? Yes. Yeah, you would." Nowadays, you couldn't do that. Nowadays, it would be much different. This was way back in the 80s and 90s. You couldn't do that nowadays. You got if you pay $100 for a car, it'd be something that was like completely worthless. So nowadays, the equivalent would be buying a car for probably maybe a couple $1,000s or so. So the value of the dollar's changed so much. So, and yeah, the cars I was collecting were also like cars that were collector cars too. So how do you feel? Anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that makes sense. That's good. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get your question. Do you want to read the question for this week while I go ahead and put it in there?
Yes. My question. Let me think. Hold on. Oh, it was, do you have a landline or home phone? And then the answers could be yes. I used to, but not anymore. I never had one. What is a landline? And I don't care.
Okay. Well,
I was just thinking about how like I feel like medical forms and forms for school and stuff like that always ask what your home phone is before they ask what your cell phone is, and I don't think really anyone has a home phone anymore, you know?
Hmm.
I don't think we had a home phone since I don't think we've had a home phone since I was maybe 8.
Yeah, I'd basically say I had got rid of my phone back in 2002. Um, and when I did, I switched to just having a cell phone. Um, but now, since I run a 2000 and starting in 2006, though, I got it's not a regular conventional phone. It's a you didn't add this to the choices, but I assume this would fall into the category of landline. It's a voice over IP phone, like a internet phone. So would you consider that a landline? I guess
Wait, what does it do?
it's a phone that's it's you talk through the internet. So it's you hook your phone up to the internet and it's like it works like a regular phone, only what goes through the internet.
I'm not sure what that means.
So
I mean, if it works kind of like a landline, then I guess it would be considered like a landline.
yeah, it would definitely would be like a cell phone, but but basically what I'm leading up to. Would it be considered a landline? But would landline be just a conventional way of doing a landline, or would this be considered separate because it's actually technically internet only? So I mean, it works just like a regular phone does, but you connect it to the internet. So that's the main thing. So
I
yeah,
guess then you would just have to comment that's because it's like it seems like something special or a little different than normal.
a lot of people have them. It's very common nowadays. So
Oh,
yeah, it's it's VoIP, voice over. Wait a minute, I forget what it stands for now. Hold on, I completely forgot. But yeah, there's Vonage is one of the companies that's out there. I think they've been around for a long time. Other companies, there's a lot of them. So, but it's yeah, that's I would think yeah, it's see when I think landline, I think conventional phone service, and that's why I wasn't sure if that would be could go into that category or not. So I
right.
do remember several years ago, back in the '90s, I was training somebody to do traffic, and I used the word landline, and she looked at me and said, "What is that?" And
Really?
yeah, I don't think back in the '90s it was as a common a phrase. So in fact, I don't remember, I definitely don't remember the word landline in the early 90s. And well, the first time I ever heard it was when my dad, back in the 90s, he used to be a cab driver. And the term landline was used exclusively because they were using, basically, it had it was either a landline or they were talking over a two-way radio to their dispatcher. So, like, if there was a problem, they say they couldn't hear them over the two-way, they said landline, landline, and they knew to call over to get a phone and get on the regular phone and just call them. So, and I don't, the term landline was not very common in the 1990s. It wasn't until the 2000s, I think, where it became more commonly used. So,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. And like I said, that the first time I ever heard it, it was like back then I was doing some work as a courier while I was going to college. So we also did the same thing. We had two-way radios and we'd come on, and if they couldn't hear us, they'd say landline, give us a landline, give us a landline, because they were having problems hearing us on the two-way radio. So
That's cool. I never knew.
yeah. Let's see. And that was, like I said, that the woman I was with that night, I was showing her how to do the work. And yeah, she just looked at me and said, "Landline, what is that?" So nowadays you wouldn't need, yeah. I guess it's become very commonplace. I still think of that. I wasn't sure how commonplace it was, but I guess if you know it, it seems to be more common, I guess, nowadays. So
Yeah, I think my cousins still have a home phone. I don't think it's a landline anymore, but they have a home phone.
oh, okay, okay. I have I had a phone. I actually have a phone in my basement. When I bought the house, the this was 18 years ago, and I picked it up and I could hear like a little bit of a like a noise, like it was connected to a phone system, but not a tone, not a dial tone, just like a little bit of a faint noise. Like it's hard if you've ever picked up a phone and your phone's not working, but you don't hear the dial tone, but you can hear the phone itself. Like there's a little bit of it. And I looked, and there was actually a phone line connected to my house. It was out there, but just no phone service. So the phone company, like 10 years ago, came by and cut the line completely. So now it doesn't do anything. So
Oh,
so
interesting.
OD says here in Brazil, you can't even buy enough gasoline to fill your car with 100 with 100 monies. Okay. Let's see. And also, by the way, I totally agree with Wadi. Here in Brazil, your GTA gameplays have lots of fans. My friends say you are a reference when it comes to GTA San Andreas. Oh, cool. Cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot. Alrighty. Does that look good? Did you want to add another question in there, or does that look good as far as we were talking about adding the possibility of adding that the voice over IP?
You can add it if you want. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. How do we phrase that? Phone line.
If you have, I guess I don't know. If you have, I don't know actually.
See, do you? We could say, do you use a voice over IP phone?
Yeah.
There we go. Oops, caps lock on. VoIP. I think that's the correct way to do it. It's a lowercase o, and the others are uppercase. Okay. You use it. Okay. Here we go. And it's doing its delay thing. Hopefully it goes through. I'll monitor that. If it doesn't, we can do it again. Hopefully it goes through.
Okay, it usually does.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my mouse. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I'm finding my mouse there. Alrighty. So the movie for this evening. Oh, unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about. You didn't have. We're not going to do your food segment tonight, correct?
Right. I can't access the pictures. They're all, I don't know. And
Okay.
it was gross food anyway.
That was gross. Can you give us a hint as to what it was that would be gross?
It's something, okay, I saw it again in the international foods aisle, but it's not like an international food. I just saw it there. It's called Dunkaroos. It's by the Betty Crocker brand. They're really gross. It looked like it was going to be good because the packaging was cool. And it's just vanilla cookies and chocolate frosting. But the chocolate frosting is just, it's wrong. It's just wrong.
Oh.
The cookies are fine, but it's not. I don't know. I ate like 3 or 4 and then I threw it out.
Oh, really? Got rid of it? Okay. Huh. I got it. Hold on a second. I got to see what this looks like now that you say it. Oh, this looks kind of familiar. Here we go. I'll bring it up. I assume this is what you're referring to. Is that it?
Yes. Maybe they were good at one point, but it's not that one. It's the
like that?
the next one over.
Oh, right here?
No, the other one. In between those two.
Oh, this one. There you go.
Yeah, that's like the chocolate one. By the way, all the cookies came crumbled. So what's that about?
Just pack
They crumbled they smashed my cookies. That's really rude.
So you didn't have the ones that look like this little cinnamon buns, I guess, almost.
No, I did not. So that was like strike one. And then the chocolate, I mean, it looked a little weird. So that was strike two. And then it tasted bad. And so I just threw it out.
Oh,
It doesn't deserve to be in my presence. It's not going to taste good, especially if it's chocolate,
So this is a big thumbs down. You do not recommend these, is what you're saying.
I would not recommend those. Betty Crocker can do better.
I remember this. This one looks very familiar with the little kangaroo. I remember seeing something like that. So, I hate to say it looks like it. This looks like a toilet. Okay. So, well, minimize this right here.
Okay. And OD commented and asked if they're better than Oreo. Absolutely not. Go buy some Oreos.
How about
these ones are gross?
Oreos, the double stuff Oreos. I like the double stuff Oreos. I've had those.
Yeah. I like the double stuffed ones, but I also like to get 2 Oreos and then twist the top off and like make my own double stuffed Oreo and then eat the chocolate cookie crackers separately.
Oh, okay. I think a lot of people do that. I always ate it the other way around. I always ate the cookies with the stuff inside. So that's one thing. I never twisted them apart. Just not my thing. So
it's kind of fun. It makes me feel like maybe like a squirrel working for my food. It's the same feeling as like pistachios. I feel like I'm working for it.
It's funny. The I there's the regular Oreos and then there's the double stuff and then that's it, I think, right? I don't know. I guess.
They come out with a lot of flavor variations that are like a little weird, but you know, yeah, the general idea. I don't think they came out with like triple or quadruple stuffed Oreos.
Oh, look at this. I remember now. You know what I really liked? I haven't had it in a long time. It was an Oreo ice cream sandwich.
That sounds good.
That was really
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't think you want to twist that apart. Maybe it's kind of big. I mean, you could, I guess. Be kind of hard because I think if I remember correctly, it's like a ice cream sandwich. The outer part, the darker part, is like kind of really soft, so it'd be kind of hard to pull it apart. So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but yeah, these were really good. These I remember. Yeah, yeah. That's as far as the regular. If I had a choice between Oreo cookies and the ice cream sandwich, I'd take the ice cream sandwich anytime. So.
I just think ice cream sandwiches are really one of our greatest creations as humans. They're really good.
Yeah.
Chocolate and vanilla, and it's like a cookie with ice cream on top. Who wouldn't want that, you know?
And that's interesting. You mentioned it was vanilla because I actually don't like vanilla, but I like it when it's in an ice cream sandwich for some reason. I never even thought of that. So I
That
don't
makes
hate
sense. That's fair.
I don't hate vanilla. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't hate vanilla. But it's just I don't go out of my way to eat it. I prefer chocolate if I can get it. But yeah, that's the whole thing about inside the sandwich. You're right. It's really good. I remember the first time I had an ice cream sandwich when I was a kid. I was like, wow, what was I? Where was I all this time? Yeah, how did I miss these?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I got hooked on those for sure. So let's see. Olivia's cookies better than Oreo, and he said that already. And almost 2 centimeters of pure filling. Yes. Alrighty. So let's see our movie for this evening. I can't say it right. Talladega Nights, and that's not the full. What's the full title? Hold on a second. Do you remember? I'm sure.
Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Yes. And this is a movie I had never seen before, but you had seen it, correct?
Yes, yes.
This it follows the theme of the movie we saw last week, which was Cars, or we reviewed last week, that is, and about basically being about racing and NASCAR. So in this movie, there was a thing that was stated, and I believe it's true. It doesn't counter what I said because I said that NASCAR racing is basically the stock car, the N and the NAS. So the S and the C in NASCAR, the middle two letters stand for stock car. And I said that the original concept was that they were all based on stock cars you could buy from an actual dealership, brand new, and race them from the dealership. And then he says in the movie that it was originally started by bootleggers, people doing moonshine and things. I think that's true, but what I said is also true because as it basically evolved, when NASCAR actually came out, NASCAR was about actually stock car racing, whereas the original concept of racing was, I believe, actually started from bootleggers. They needed a place to race their cars that they had actually souped up, which kind of contradicts the whole idea of having a stock car. So I'm not sure how that evolved exactly. So
That makes sense. I mean, they wouldn't have been able to say, like, they wouldn't have been able to proudly, especially at the time, proudly like wave the flag of how the concept started with being bootleggers. You know, I
yeah.
feel like that would have been. I don't think they would have gotten very far with that kind of PR marketing.
Right. That's also the basic idea for the TV show The Dukes of Hazzard. Did you ever see that show from the 1980s, 70s, and 80s?
I've heard of it, and I think I've like caught it on TV every now and then, but I don't think I've ever sat down and like watched an episode.
Okay, so yeah, basically that show was they had a car called the General Lee, and there was had a big 01 on the side, and they were all about racing. And the whole idea was that they were also bootleggers themselves, but got busted and arrested. So now they were they weren't allowed to do that anymore. They weren't allowed to do bootlegging anymore. So they were they keep themselves clean. And so they were aside from that, they were always the do-gooders of the whole show. They were always trying to do good instead of trying to break the law. So. And
Cool.
the whole idea was, basically about NASCAR racing, and racing was always in the background of that show. So similar.
Right.
So, So I'd never seen this. I did some looking around when we watched the when I was watching the excuse me, when I watched some other people say that people in NASCAR have actually really liked this movie, and they actually like to quote lines from it, which I found was pretty funny. So in a good way. I mean, what's one of the what's the popular line that that he says in this? I forget what. There's a very famous line he says in this movie. What do you remember?
Is
What it
it
is?
shake and bake?
No,
Is
no.
it if you ain't first, you're last?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Apparently, a lot of people in NASCAR like to quote that line. So,
That's funny. That's good.
and there's actually a NASCAR racer who didn't have a sponsor, so he purposely in real life painted his car to look just like the car he had in this movie when he was racing.
That's great.
So this is a very, very fun movie for people. Apparently, not I'm not saying everybody in NASCAR, but a lot of people like NASCAR really enjoy this movie. So it's really boosted that whole idea, whole concept of NASCAR racing. So, and I like I said when last week, I've never been a fan of NASCAR itself. But I have been a fan of the cars from the early time, like from the '60s and early '70s. I always thought those were the nicest looking cars. So me, it's about the cars. But then as it evolved, they weren't really stock cars anymore. They were just like fiberglass shells with a cage, and it wasn't. So they became less appealing to me. So I'm not really into it at all. But it's for me, it's just the cars. But I can appreciate the people that do like it. So.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie struck a great balance between being about racing and having, I mean, as far as I can tell, having pretty accurate like racing stuff thrown in there, but
Mhm.
also being about comedy so that it's not just a racing movie, it's like a comedy movie as well, you know? Like
Right.
regular people can watch it.
And the comedy, I wasn't expecting the comedy to be. It's very much. It can be very cartoonish in some ways. Sometimes. So like the French racer when he comes in, he breaks what's his name? Bobby. I'm sorry. Is it? I'm sorry. What's his name again?
The
Uh,
main character, Ricky
yeah,
Bobby.
Ricky. Yeah, he breaks Ricky Bobby's arm, and nobody does anything about it. It's like and it's like what's going on, why is nobody helping him? And during the scene where he comes into the bar and breaks his arm, and then he has a cast on it, he just cuts the cast off, and like everything's okay, like nothing happened. So
Yeah, I mean, it's outlandish, it's like ridiculous and it's a bit vulgar, but I think it's funny stuff.
so the what how would you describe the main plot of this movie?
Well, okay. Ricky Bobby was born in a car driving really fast. Um and his father was, never there for him, but one day in like 3rd grade or something, his father came to class and told everyone, if you ain't first, you're last. That's like when he first heard it. And that kind of like sparked the whole being a race car driver in Ricky Bobby. And so Ricky Bobby is working with his best friend um, as like race car pit people. I don't know.
Pit crew is what they.
Yeah, pit crew. And the driver for their car gets out to go to the bathroom and eat a sandwich during a race,
Yeah,
because they're losing so bad.
yeah, I don't mean
Go ahead.
to. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to mean to interrupt you, but yeah, that was completely
Yeah.
unbelievable. So,
he's he was saying like he was shouting at them, I'm gonna make a phone call, I'm gonna finish eating this, and then I'm gonna come back.
right.
um but Ricky Bobby gets in the car, starts driving. They realize that he's good at it, and he becomes a race car driver. And so he does really well at racing, and he never loses, and he also never lets his best friend win. Um, his best friend really just helps him win the whole time, so he never really appreciates. His name is Carl Naughton Jr. He never really appreciates Carl. But they're still best friends. And then he meets his wife in the crowd. They get married. They have 2 kids, and I guess Carl Naughton Jr. also lives in their house or something. Um, and what happens after that? Oh yeah,
Um,
and then they're at a bar one time after a race, and they're having fun. They're joking around. And then the French guy comes in and challenges him, and the French racer is from F1. Um,
Right.
which I don't think that transition would make much sense in the real world, but um, the what's his name? What's the French guy's name? Do you remember?
Was it Jean
Jean
Girard?
Girard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, he challenges Ricky Bobby because he wants to be, ultimately he says that he wants to be beaten by someone who's actually like better than him so that he can retire with his husband. And what is it in the shorter one, it's so that they can train German shepherds or something, and in the longer one it's so that they can or in the extended edition, it's so that they can train uh, train Komodo dragons in Sri Lanka.
Oh, okay. I remember that part.
I think that's what it was. Anyway, he breaks his arm because he won't admit that he likes crepes. Or, okay, wait. Jean Girard breaks Ricky Bobby's arm because Ricky Bobby won't say that he likes crepes. And
It turns out the crepes are just their version of pancakes, right?
yeah, they're like flat, really, really thin pancakes. I made them once. They're pretty hard to make, but they're good. They're really good. And then
Since you made them, let me ask you: are they right? Are they just like pancakes, or are they their own distinct thing?
it's not like pancake batter, but they are flat and round. They're just like way thinner. Like with a pancake, you want a fluffy pancake and you want it to rise, but with a crepe, you want it to be like a sheet of paper. You want it to be really thin.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, uh, but yeah, I only made them once. I'm not a crepe expert. And then Jean Girard starts winning all the races. And what happens to Ricky Bobby? Ricky Bobby gets in a car accident and he thinks he's on fire, and then he starts running around in his underwear, and then I guess he slips into a coma or something, and he's in the hospital for a while. Um, and then there's some funny moments while he's in the hospital. And let's see. Oh, he wakes up. He thinks he can't walk, and he doesn't even try. Um,
Yeah.
he doesn't even try to walk. He thinks he's paralyzed, and then they say to him, his best friend and crew chief, is that what they're called?
I guess I'm not sure that one. Yeah, but he's whatever he is. He's the boss, I guess, of the crew.
Yeah,
The crew.
boss man. Um, they tell him that he's not paralyzed. Ricky Bobby starts screaming and freaking out, and then he stabs himself with a fork, I think.
Mhm.
And he realizes that he can feel his legs. He's not paralyzed, and he can walk, actually. So he goes back to the track. I think his arm is still broken at this point. He goes back to the track. Is it?
Hmm.
Wait,
That's
I
fine.
don't know if his arm is still. Well, whatever. He goes back to the track, and
I,
I
I,
guess he. Hmm?
I'm sorry. I've just looked. While we were talking, I just like this is Michael Clark Duncan. He actually, wow, he died. He died already. Wow, 10 years.
Oh.
Yeah, he's died at 54. Wow, it's not too old. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to bring depressing news in there. Sorry.
That's sad. Um. Oh yeah, there's him stabbing his leg.
Oh yes,
Uh.
I think this is it right here too, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's funny. It's funny stuff. He gets back out on the track. Oh yeah, and he freaks out because, and he has like another breakdown because he's scared of how fast the cars are going. He's going like 20 miles an hour and everyone else is going, 100 or more than that miles an hour. He has another breakdown. He strips back down to his underwear. And uh the owner of Dennett Racing, since Carl Naughton Jr. is not the smartest person there, he convinces Carl to go and soothe Ricky Bobby's wife. What's her name? Carly. There we go. Um, And so they end up getting together because Carly is a racer's wife, and she can't be with someone who's a failure. And so they announce that they're getting married, and they say that Ricky Bobby and Carly's marriage has been on the rocks for a while or whatever. It's a funny. I like it. It's funny. Um, and then Ricky Bobby goes to his mother's house, gets a job as a pizza delivery person.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so basically that's where it gets kind of outlandish. So basically, somehow he loses all his money, his home, all his money, everything because of
yeah.
this. So
Well,
yeah,
I wouldn't expect someone like Ricky Bobby or Carly to save money
but
with a
she,
house like that, and only, yeah.
yeah, but somehow she was able to get all of it though, which is kind of strange. That's all. Yeah. So
But yeah, he gets a job as a pizza delivery person, and at first he's in a car, and then he hits someone's cart, and then a police officer, which I thought was just so funny.
yeah, this was
Because he's like completely forgotten how to drive. Then he has to try. Oh yeah, here it is.
yeah. Trying to avoid the it puts in forward drive instead of reverse. Here we go. Yes.
Um, and then he goes on the bus and he tries to strike up a conversation with someone who ends up screaming at him. And then he decides to do the bike. Um, and then he has to deliver to his father.
Oh yes, yes. That's yeah. That was the important part of it. Yeah, because that's his father. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, his father was delivered several pizzas just to get him to come there. Right.
Right. Yeah. Um, and so he delivers the pieces to his father, and I don't remember exactly what they talked about actually.
Looks like
Uh,
his father, the guy's playing his father doesn't look like he's that old. Looks like they just grayed his hair up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
so, and then
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, go ahead. So they were talking about he wanted to get back into his life somehow. I forget exactly what he said there, but yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe he saw him. He said that he saw him on TV, um, and he wanted to help him get back into racing or whatever. And then Ricky Bobby doesn't want to hear any of it. He goes home. He goes to his mom's, and the whole time his mom is getting fed up with how his children act because his children are like heathens. They're rabid and they're feral. And so, uh, oh yeah, Reese is the dad's name. I think Reese Bobby goes and tries to talk him into getting back in the car, and I guess eventually he does. He convinces him to try and to let Reese help him with the car thing.
Yeah.
And then the first thing that he tries is to put a cougar in the car.
No, the
Be-
cougar. It was so they say about the cougar. There are several parts where you can see it's actually a puppet.
yeah, yeah, you can tell. I mean, that's what all I was thinking is like that's totally a hand in
Yeah.
in a pretend cougar's head, but it's okay. I can use my imagination. Um, he says that he has to. Reese tells Ricky Bobby that he has to drive with the fear, and that's why the cougar's in the car, and that the cougar will sense his fear, and he just has to calm down, and it'll be fine. And so Reese tries to get in the car, and he gets mauled by the cougar. And then he goes home, and that's when the grandmother says that she's imposing granny law because the kids go and take someone's hose from the backyard and spray into their window.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Before we get up to there, I want to talk about the car that the dad has. The car who seems completely irresponsible has it's either a 68 or a 69 Chevelle, and this thing looks like it's in almost perfect condition. It really is really kept up really nice. So somebody who can't keep his life together can keep his car looking so nice doesn't seem to be plausible. So the and that as the movie goes on, that it does get a little bit beaten up, but up until that point, though, it's so clean. It's like really, this. And you think the car be like all falling, rusting, and falling apart by then? You know what I'm saying? So
That's true, but I always thought like he's such a car person that the only thing he probably cares about is his car, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the only thing he puts money into or care or effort.
okay, okay,
That's what my brain said to me.
okay. Now, based on that, though, you think that when they're driving later on the road, and he has him up on the what's a blindfold or something, so he can't see, and he starts wrecking into the cars. You think he'd be like screaming, "Oh my God, my car's going to be smashed!"
That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. Maybe he's so desperate to help Ricky Bobby. Nah, I don't know. Um, but yeah. So Granny imposes Granny Law and she's out to fix the children. Um, and then I think her performance is always incredible. What's her name? Jane Lynch. Jane Lynch is always so funny. I love her. Anyway, and then
Wait, hold on, Jane. What else was she in? She looks familiar.
she was I watched Glee in middle school, and
Okay.
she was so funny in that. It's a really absurd and ridiculous show that I don't think would be able to air now. Um,
There's one where they're singing or something. Where like,
yeah,
okay, I never watched it, but
that
I
was
think
so just it was totally it's just some of the plot points in that show. I mean, it was just weird.
she looks like. Now this is the movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. She kind of looks like, but I think that's a different actor because that woman would have to be. That movie came out a long time ago, so it's got to be a different actor. She wouldn't be. I don't think she's that old. Something. She probably just has a similar look to her. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
She was also in Best in Show, which I think we watched.
yes, 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 I
Yeah,
remember that.
she was one of the she was the dog trainer of the poodle, I think.
Okay, okay, all right. So anyway,
Next in the movie, what happens after that? Oh, I think that next is when Reese asks Ricky to blindfold himself and drive with his heart in the car. And then obviously, since Ricky can't see anything, he crashes into everything. Oh, yeah, he talks with his best friend and he's trying to be mad at his best friend, but he is finding it very difficult.
all right.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah.
his best friend has access and he's telling him what to, things about the house that his friend doesn't know. So yeah. So there we go. There we go. Here's the blinds. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
the blindfold. So yeah, it's
Obviously,
like
since he's blindfolded, he is not that good at driving and he crashes through a house.
yeah.
Um, And then this is a funny part. Reese tells him to get out, and Ricky tries to put the blindfold back on to back out of the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's Granny imposing Granny Law. Um, and then I don't actually remember. Oh yeah, uh, Carl Naughton Jr. calls again in the middle of the night to ask Ricky Bobby about the house, and at the end of the call, the house whispers to him to get out. So that's fun.
I forgot that altogether. I remember the phone call. I don't remember the get out part, but okay, that's cool. Let's see here, and they're watching. When they talk about, were they both talking about the same movie or TV show? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think they just called because I think Carl Naughton Jr. wanted to know why it wouldn't work if you tried to have a movie on and like music on or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. Okay, yes, I can't remember. His name is Carl. Is it Carl? What's his name? Not. Is it because I'm looking?
Carl Naughton Jr.
Okay, I'll bring it up over here. The according to this, it says Cal. So
Oh, wow. Maybe it is Cal Naughton. Oh, that makes sense. I
okay,
guess I always heard Carl.
that's fine. And IMDb is not perfect, by the way, so there could always be a mistake here as well.
Oh,
But
it's probably Cal.
okay,
I
all right.
guess with the southern accents, maybe my brain heard Carl.
Mm, okay, okay. Alrighty.
Yeah, okay. And then Reese uh, wakes Ricky Bobby up by throwing buckets of water on him and asking him how stock car racing got its start.
Right.
Um, and then he lets him know that he strapped a kilo of cocaine under his car,
Yeah.
called the police, and said that he could either drive fast or go to jail. And so Ricky Bobby decides to drive fast again, and he overcomes all the fear and all that stuff, and he really likes going fast again. And then he escapes, evades the cops, and finds out that it's just a bag of Lucky Charms under the car.
Yeah. Right here. Yeah. So, yeah.
So he gives it the pizza thing, and he goes back to race. But all his sponsors have left. Oh, he gets his driver's license. There we go. All his sponsors
Oh,
have
yeah,
left.
yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. I completely forgot that too. Yeah, the driver,
He,
the tester is like all nervous and everything. So, yeah.
yeah, and the cougar's name is Karen.
Oh, is it? Oh, I forgot that. Okay. Okay.
So yes, he goes back to Ray. I no, does he? Oh, he plays video games, and that's where he sees his old publicist, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's after this. They have dinner, and Reese really hates the feeling of being with family, and so he makes a big fuss and gets kicked out of the Applebee's.
Right.
Um,
And
and
this is a pivotal moment. I think you're leading up to it, where he says that he doesn't even remember saying that famous phrase. Um,
right, he said he was high. He said it didn't. That doesn't even make sense because you can be second or third or fourth or fifth.
so, and then, yeah, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's okay. That's just what I was gonna say. He says he didn't even remember saying it, um, and it doesn't make sense. And he also does not like being with family, and that's basically what he said. And he said he was gonna go somewhere, and then Ricky Bobby asked what he's supposed to do, and he also told him that he won all the races for him. Um, and he asked what he's supposed to do if he's just gonna leave again, and then he goes to the Unfriendly Possum Bar and Grill and plays video games, and then John Gerard mocks him on a video game after he's crashed in a video game. And then
Right.
his old publicist, PR person,
Is
I'm
that
not
her?
sure what she was doing.
Okay.
But she comes, talks to him, and she revs him up, gives him this big speech, a really dramatic speech about how he should be winning for him, he should be racing for himself, and not think about anyone else. And he said that he's giving up on the racing, and that he's gonna see how if he wanted to see if he could either do the real world with MTV, or buy a gun and sell cocaine and be a nice coke dealer. Not a mean one, but a nice one. And he's just gonna wait and see how those two flesh themselves out. And then she does the speech, and then they get together. And then they go to. I think she convinces him to race in the race, Talladega race or something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
That's,
Um,
yeah, whatever the race is called, it's yeah, I think it's the Speedway. Like is what they. I'm not sure what the race is actually called. Most of the races in NASCAR are usually sponsored names. So like whatever the sponsor be, they name it after the sponsor. If it was say Coca-Cola, it'd be like the Coca-Cola 500 or something like that. So I'm not
huh.
sure. I'm not sure if the I can't say the word Talladega race is called the Talladega race or not. I know Daytona is the only one doesn't have a sponsor name in it. So that's the one that's I believe is the first one of the season. So that's the first that Daytona is the first one, and then Talladega I'm not sure. As far as how that lines up with the rest of them. So
That makes sense. I didn't know about the like sponsored race name, but that does make sense actually.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's convinced to race. But he doesn't have any sponsors. Well, he has a sponsor for man thongs, but that's kind of it. And they're not really doing anything.
Oh yeah,
Um,
let's look at his car. Hold on a second. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So,
Leo's thongs for men, and then they say who would wear what kind of man would wear a thong? That's sick. And then the one of the guys gets up and he's wearing a leopard print thong, and he goes, "Yeah, pervs."
yeah, I'm trying to get to it here. Let's see if it gets to it. Yep, there. And there's another sponsor on there too. It's at the very on the back of the car. It was some sort of dating or something. Hold on a second, let me get there. Yeah, I can only do this so quickly. All right, here we go. There's one. That's not the one I was talking
Bath salt for menopause and spider bites.
and then there we go. That's one right there. Yeah, they're like a dating ad. So looking for
Oh,
fun.
that's funny.
So okay, and they don't say the name of the guy. So but he's looking for a woman 19 to 24. So good shape for fun.
So but they're not really doing much, but he is going to race anyway, and they like the pit crew decides to really try to build, a better engine and a better insides of the car, because
I
I don't
gotta
know
say
much about engines, but that looks awful.
that looks like an engine that was pulled out of a regular street car, and even the engine that they finally showed later on doesn't look like a real a NASCAR engine. It looks like another like an engine you'd have for another street car. Not that's all souped up. It's like a hot rod you'd have when you drive on the street. NASCAR engines are kind of different looking. So, this is definitely like a car you would have just for regular driving, like a regular driving car. So,
I don't know.
and
I've never really seen one that looks like that. It looks like, to me, it just looks kind of like old, but it also might just be because I've never seen one in a cage like that. So it might just be it looks kind of different.
yeah, if I were to guess, I would say that these words might not mean anything to it. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just saying that this looks like probably a Chevrolet small block engine, probably like a 305 to a 350 cubic inch, somewhere in that range, and it's probably out of an old a car from the 19. I'd probably say the mid 70s. So based on that.
Oh,
So, and it definitely looks like a car, an engine out of a car, not a street car. I mean, not a red NASCAR engine. So,
right. That makes sense.
except for
So
the air,
yeah, they try to go ahead.
I'm sorry, the air cleaner on which is this on top. This here is called the air cleaner. So the air cleaner, that's not what you would see in a stock car. So they put that on there probably just to make it look like more like a racing engine. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they decide to work with it, and they try to build a better car, while while Ricky Bobby goes to find Jean Girard to threaten him and tell him that he's gonna get beat. And then Jean Girard is having a really secluded, exclusive lunch with just some random people. I
Hmm.
mean, they're not random; they're like famous, but just random famous people. Um,
Random to us, the audience, I guess you could mean. Is that what you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't expect a race car driver to be hanging out with, celebrities, like real celebrities.
Yeah. Is
I think
Talladega?
Talladega is a place.
I think so too. I don't know. I should know that. Sounds like an Algonquian word, like a Native American word, like all the other, like a lot of other words in towns and cities. So that are
Right.
so yeah. We can look that up. I'm sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Um.
Let me see. While you're doing that, I'm gonna look that up.
Okay. And so Ricky Bobby takes a walk with Jean Girard, and I forget. I just saw it too. I kind of forget how they start the conversation. Oh yeah, he says that holding hands with Jean Girard is weird, um, and then they talk about the rate. Oh yeah, This is when Jean Girard actually says to Ricky Bobby that he wants to get beat, uh, but like in a genuine way. He's not gonna like lose on purpose. He genuinely wants to, in a fair way, get beat by Ricky Bobby.
Oh, right.
Um,
Right. Now hold on a second. Since I went ahead and looked this up. So Talladega Speedway is in Alabama. Yeah,
That makes sense.
there. But when I did a search for Talladega, there is a Talladega, but it doesn't seem to be in the same location. Kind of interesting. Um, you got me curious now. Hold on, let me go back and I'll do that too. Okay, it's south of there. Okay, there we go. So it's very close. It's very close to the actual town of Talladega, Alabama. There we go. So that should answer the question there. So
Cool.
cool. I learned something there.
So
So
yeah, they talk, and then they, um, um, what happens? Oh yeah, Jean Girard tells Ricky Bobby that he's gonna get beaten at the race. Um, and I guess that's when they do it.
he says he wants to. Sorry, trying to pause that. He said if he would kiss him or something that would be he would stop this whole thing or something. He would stop racing or something. Didn't was that where he says this or is
I
that
think
later?
so. I think maybe, or maybe I don't know. Maybe before they're like right before the race.
Okay. I don't remember where. I just remember him saying it though for sure. It was like and that was the big thing. So yeah. Okay. Maybe it was right here. It might have been right here. So I don't have
Oh yeah, maybe.
I don't have closed captioning on this. Sorry. So actually I can bring it up a little and see what he says. I don't want to play too much.
Even Diane Sawyer needed Katie Curry.
Oh yeah. This is where he asks if he will be as Katie correct.
You. Yeah. Because although today I am friendly.
Okay, I don't want to go too much. You might get a copyright. So there you go.
That part was so funny to me though, because he goes, "Although today I'm friendly, tomorrow will be war." And then Ricky Bobby goes, "All right."
All right. So let's see. What was there anything? Okay, there we go. And that was the okay. That was the actual. Okay, then we're going to the race itself.
Right.
So now the interesting thing is it seems like all the races take place at the same track here, which is obviously not how it happens. So yeah, what I mean is, each of the races takes place in a different location. So you're there?
Yeah, what do you mean? What do you mean the races?
Yeah,
Like
each race, like each race, like I told you, like each race, like there's the Daytona that takes place in Daytona, but then all the other ones that have the sponsored names, they take place in different cities. So they don't all like this movie is taking place solely at this one track. Like all the races take place here, whereas in reality, NASCAR goes to a whole bunch of different tracks. So they wouldn't just constantly race at the same location, is what I'm saying.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So they don't show them racing anywhere else. In fact, do they? I only see them racing at this one track.
I don't know. I always assumed that this was like they traveled here. But I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any other tracks. So I think yeah. So I'm just saying that normally I forget how many tracks there are, but there's a whole bunch. There's one in near the Poconos in Pennsylvania, which is west of New York City. I forget what that one's called. That's another big racetrack. The Daytona one, obviously. This one, Talladega, and there's a whole bunch of them.
Right.
So they've if they did it at the same track, I think it would be it would make the race even more boring for the drivers because each race would be exactly the same. They would have the exact same track to deal with because each track has its own little nuances and little things that they have to deal with that are different. So they have to change it around for them. So
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, but this is when the pit crew for Ricky Bobby tries to tell him that Glenn has died fixing the car, which is a lie. And then Ricky Bobby sees Glenn, points it out, and then what's her name? Rachel. I want to say is her. What's her name? The
the the wife, the woman that has to be married to the winner.
No, that's Carly.
Hold on a second, I'm bringing up IMDb. Okay, there you go. So you can take a look together. Are you talking about the mother?
No, it's the girl that he's with now.
Oh, I don't remember.
Susan?
There we go.
I think it's.
Say look.
Oh, Susan. Yeah, right there, Susan.
Okay.
So Susan gives another good big speech about how he's gonna win and how they repainted the car to say ME, which is me, because it's just him out there, and
And this,
oh yeah, talk about this.
this is a completely different engine. The one that was there before had what I know, like I'm not trying to be insulting or anything. You don't know this. I'm just saying that this is the distributor. On the other one, the distributor was on the back of the engine. So this looks like a Ford engine, which is kind of funny. So they went from a GM to a Ford engine, and this one definitely looks like another hot rod, an engine you would see more in a car rather than than on a NASCAR track. And the NASCAR would probably have an air cleaner that's kind of similar to this, but the intake manifold would be designed differently. It would be, and it would be what's called a single plane versus this looks like maybe a dual plane. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like a dual plane intake manifold. And the alternator looks like a chrome alternator you'd see on a car, not an alternator you'd see for NASCAR. NASCAR alternators, this is an alternator that would be designed for use for your, to power your radio, the stuff that you have in your car, the power windows. Whereas an alternator for NASCAR would be more, and it looks more like it probably look more like this right here is the alternator. The front of it would probably look more like this pulley right here. That's more like more streamlined. So it's just to the untrained eye, this looks like a high performance engine, but but it's not really. It doesn't really look like a NASCAR engine to me. It just looks like something that would be in a regular car. So I'm kind of surprised they would do that. It would, since it's a NASCAR movie, why not put an actual NASCAR engine in there? So.
That's true. I mean, they've totally fooled me. I thought, this is shiny and it looks new, and so it's probably just fine. But yeah, it looks. Yeah, you're right. To the untrained eye, it looks fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, this looks like and one of the things they like to do is they like you said, the chrome and the shiny that makes it look like it's high performance to a lot of people. So if you took all the chrome off and just made it look like you didn't get all the chrome, it would look like a regular engine at that point. You would see it looks more like a car, an average car engine that would be, like I said, in a street rod, like someone who has a high performance car they drive on the street, not on a racetrack. So
right, that makes sense.
So okay, I didn't mean to cut you off there. So
no, you didn't. Okay, and then this is, I guess, yeah, this is when she's explaining the symbolism of the cougar and me and all that stuff. And then I guess that's when he goes out on the track to Glenn ruins it by saying something about King Arthur and the Round Table, which I just think he's so funny.
Oh, I was thinking. I'm sorry. Didn't they say he died here or something, or is that later on or something?
Yeah. They tried to tell a little bit before this. They tried to tell Ricky Bobby that he died in building the car, which was a lie. And then Ricky Bobby saw him, and that's when she talked about the car, and the cougar and all that stuff.
I wanted to try to see if I could see the car because we're talking about it. Not the engine. We already saw that. Where's the car at? Hold on a second.
Oh, it was after this.
Oh, okay. So we don't. Oh, okay. Okay. So there we go over here. Oh, there we go. We can see a little bit there. That's it. That's the car.
No, that's Cal's car.
This is. Oh, there we go. That's it right there. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you see, it definitely has a Ford logo. It definitely would look like a Ford engine. Whereas before it looked like I said, a Chevrolet engine. Which is, if you're ever talking to a person who talks about cars, Ford and Chevrolet are like rival engines. Like you wouldn't have the same. It would be like the exact opposite. So they're opposites of each other. So have a Chevrolet and a Ford car would be kind of odd for that kind of an idea. So, but
right.
Anyway, I'm trying to find. I want to see the front of the car. So anyway, go ahead. I'll search for the car.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
There's Karen.
Her. Who's over here? Oh, there we go. Nice shot right there. There we go. Perfect. There we go. right there. That's a nice shot. So, yeah. Okay, that's what you're talking about with the ME, and you couldn't figure out what ME stood for.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then after that, they went
there we
out to get ready for the race.
Nice shot. There we go. Perfect. So,
And that's Cal. Oh, that is it? Yeah.
what's that?
That's the car that Ricky Bobby's going to drive.
Right. That's what I was looking for, was his car. Right. That was,
okay.
yeah. So, yeah. And yeah, Cal drives the other car. He was the one that's the one that you saw before that you said was, you were correct before. The
okay. I was mistaken from the stickers on the side.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the car also looks kind of like, I guess I didn't realize this till just now. The color scheme kind of matches his dad's car. You see it?
You're right.
So I didn't catch that until now. And then the number is different though, because was it 62 or something? His dad's was 13. So that's the one you saw before. That's one.
Yeah.
So okay.
Okay. And then he goes up to talk to Cal, I guess. And or Cal and Carly. And Cal is like, you missed the wedding, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to be friends with him. And Carly's like, you have to remember that this is the enemy. And then I guess this is when Cal tells him that it's not shake and bake anymore. He's the magic man or something. And then Ricky Bobby gets a bit angry at first. And then he realizes, I don't know what he realizes, but he lets Cal go, and he apologizes for not appreciating him enough as a friend when they were friends. And that totally throws Cal off. And basically during the whole race, Cal is just wondering why Ricky Bobby would apologize to him when Cal is the one that kind of took his wife and his kids away from him and his house and all his stuff.
Yeah, he goes to his pit crew chief or whatever and asks him, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then they start racing, and I guess everything is just kind of going at a usual race way. That makes sense. It's just kind of going as usual. And Cal is just talking to the chief person. And then it cuts to the owner of Dennett Racing and his wife, who is also very funny. She's like a super funny lady, and she's been in a lot of comedy movies.
Hold on. I think right there, if I can back it up just a little bit. Hold on. I think we can see what the name of the race is. If you look right here, I guess it's the UAW 500. Remember I was telling you, like, they usually have a sponsor. So I guess it's the UAW, which is the United Auto Workers Union. So so yeah, so it's that's the name of this particular race. So in case you're wondering, I don't think they would call it the Ford 500. I could be wrong. It's probably the UAW 500. So Ford is probably just a sponsor that's tied in with it in some way. So.
Would those on the top just be the sponsor stickers, and then because is it the Talladega 500? Or maybe I don't know.
I think it's the Talladega Speedway. It's the Speedway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
or would the rest of the word be before the 500?
Like Talladega or
like whatever the word is, would that be before the 500? Also in the black words.
Yeah, so I was going to try to go back a little bit and take it. Hold on a second. Let me see. There we go. Let me play it a little bit. It's hard to jump on this.
That was a cool shot to me, going through the car and seeing everything in there.
Yeah. Let's see. We're almost there. Okay. Yeah,
it doesn't show you.
Yeah, not much more. But I do believe the answer your question, probably not. I'm just guessing though. I could be wrong, of course. But I do believe it's just the UAW 500. It would be the name of this race, if that's such a real thing. But the UAW is real. So it's probably just a product placement for the movie. So I'm not sure.
That makes sense. Okay. So yeah, they're racing, and then I guess Ricky Bobby is starting to get good, and the owner of Dennett Racing, I forget his name, the blonde one. Right, she's so funny. She was on SNL for a while. And she's like a good comedian in her own right, definitely.
Okay, I'm not familiar with her. Maybe if I saw her, I might recognize. I didn't recognize her otherwise. So.
She was very popular with like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, and Maya Rudolph. That kind of group was on SNL all at the same time, I think.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not. I didn't watch the. I know the names, but I never watched the show. So.
Right. That makes sense. That's fair. But yeah, so, she always gets drunk and their marriage is failing, which is, that's kind of like the funny part for them.
And then she kisses that one guy.
Yeah, she goes to kiss one of the, I guess what would they be? They would be investors. They're on the board or something.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's probably a good idea. I'm probably close enough, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's her thing. Yeah, this guy. And he has always hated Ricky Bobby because his dad, the former owner of Dennett Racing, really loved Ricky Bobby. And he said in one of the times that he was presenting an award to Ricky Bobby, he said, Ricky Bobby, who is like a son to me, but better. And so this guy has always kind of hated Ricky Bobby. And he's like super stressed about everything all the time. And so he tries to tell Cal to take Ricky Bobby out of the race. And then Cal decides, it's kind of after this, but Cal decides that he's not going to do it, and that his friendship with Ricky Bobby is still strong, and they're still best friends, and he forgives him and all that stuff. And so he slingshots him, and I think that's when the crash happens.
Oh, right, the big crash, right? I forgot that. Yeah. So let's jump ahead here. Oh, and then there's this funny scene where he's interviewing people who are not really who they say they are. So I think, I'm not sure if I could look up. I think this guy was in the movie Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams. He looks like one of the people that was in that movie. So I'm not sure. I don't think he's a famous actor but he looks like one of the people who's in that movie. So
right.
Let's see. So yeah, oh, that's right. The dad comes, and the dad. You think the dad's coming finally to watch his son, and then he
scalps the tickets. Yeah.
He scalps. Yeah, immediately. Yeah, just say. And it was funny because the tickets early in the movie, he said he always has a pair of tickets for his dad that were always ready for him if he ever decided to show up. So, and he just scalps him, like you said. So. So
yes, okay. So the crash is so long that they have a commercial in the middle of it.
Right. So yeah, there's the crash. Some people just watch the race just so they can see the crashes. That's the thing they live for. So
that's kind of sick, but I guess it makes sense. It's interesting to see cars flying around.
Who's Dale Earnhardt was killed in an automobile accident, like in a big crash. I mean, on the shortly before this movie was made, not too long. I say like within 3 or 4 years, I think. And his son, I think, is a racer, right? Dale Earnhardt Jr., if I'm not mistaken. Do you know? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
So
it sounds right though.
Were any of them in this movie? I think any famous racers? I can't remember. Let me bring up the.
I'm not sure.
Let me take a look here. For some reason, I think he was here. I'll bring up the list real quick. Take a look here. I don't know all the racers. I just know. So I just remember Dale Earnhardt was killed because it was a big deal because he was a famous racer, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. was in the movie. I thought he was. So as far as other people, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say. So I do know. I doubt he's in here. Another famous race car driver, and this is his real name, is Dick Trickle. So I only remember because it's just a funny sounding name. So
His parents must have done that on purpose.
And
It's not fair.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is like, his cameo is like when Ricky Bobby is up on stage receiving one of the awards. I think he comes up and he's like congratulating him. I think I don't remember. I wouldn't recognize him. So I think I was watching another video and someone pointed out who he was. So,
Oh,
but yeah, they're getting back to the big race. They crash. They go into the commercial break because it's so long. And apparently that was some sort of inside joke for NASCAR people. Apparently they go cut the commercial breaks too often or something. It was like an inside joke for people who watch NASCAR because they get annoyed with the commercial breaks coming in at the wrong times. So,
that's great. And then in the middle of a crash too. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then so they get out of the car, they start running. Of course, they say that doesn't count, but the team spirit or whatever it was, the spirit of racing, something to that effect. So
yeah, and so Jean Girard feels like he can retire comfortably now.
mm-hmm. And then it gives him the kiss anyway. So
yes.
Yeah. So and let's see.
Cal wins.
Yeah, here honestly, I think this is where Dale Earnhardt comes up. I'm just one of these things. We don't have to dwell on it too long here, but I just want to see if I can. I'm not sure. Maybe that's him. I don't know. No, it's the announcer. So anyway, it's not a big deal. Go ahead. So
Yeah, this is kind of they finish the race. Cal wins a race finally, and Ricky and Cal kind of rekindle their friendship. They're besties again. And now instead of Shake and Bake, they are the Magic Man and El Diablo. And so that was really cool for them. And then Carly tries to get Ricky back. And then Susan comes in, and Susan kind of wins the battle. And yeah, and then they I don't know what happens after that again.
they get together in his dad's car and they go out to eat dinner or something.
Oh yeah, they get kicked out of Applebee's. And then it's the end.
Yeah.
So did you like this movie? Did you think it was funny, or was it? Because I know for some people, especially like this kind of era of Will Ferrell and what's his name, the other guy, their movies can be a little bit vulgar for some people, which is fair.
I didn't. You mean the guy who played Cal?
Yeah.
Oh, is he like a regular Will Ferrell partner kind of a thing?
Yeah, they're they were the Step Brothers guys. John C. Reilly. There we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, there it is, right there. Okay, I didn't know that. So are they a lot of movies together? Is that what you're saying? Or
I wouldn't say a lot, but it's like a considerable amount that are funny. That like they've been in a few comedy movies together, and they're usually successful. And I feel like that's pretty special. I feel like that's what makes it special. Is like so many people love their comedy movies. Kind of hit it out of the park every time.
How did you describe the movie again? It was kind of what? Did you say something similar to raunchy or something? Or
yeah, the Step Brothers movie.
No, this one. Did you say this one? How did you? Is that what you said before? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
No, it can just be a little like vulgar. Like some of the stuff, it can just be a little. And like for some people, it's just a little bit too much, which is fair.
Oh yeah, that stuff would never bother me. No, that's fine. The comment I can honestly say I didn't laugh out loud at anything directly. So, but it doesn't mean it wasn't. I think it was a good movie. I'm just saying that I wasn't sitting there laughing laughing really hard at any of the jokes. So they were funny, but they weren't making me laugh, is what I'm saying. So
that's fair.
As far as the movie, you asked me if I liked it. I would say it's okay, but I wouldn't put it near the top of my favorite kind of movies for sure. But it was watchable for sure. It had my interest. I was kind of like trying to follow the plot, so the plot does kind of go zigzaggy, I guess. I don't know. Does it really? It just goes all over the place, doesn't it? It doesn't really have a main theme, or it doesn't really have one. I mean, it has a theme of sorts, but not really. I don't know. Does it have a focus of any kind?
I mean, I would say it's definitely like focused on the comedy part, but I do think that it's about like Ricky Bobby's kind of finally doing something for himself, and like Susan was making the speech about, like actually racing for himself instead of for you know, to get to be loved or for his father or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the father, there's no there's the thing with his father is never really resolved. It's just his father just he's a kind of like a jerk essentially.
Yeah, I feel like it's realistic though. I feel like if someone, you know, has a deadbeat dad, you're probably gonna have to do a more of a like a self journey and kind of like find it within yourself to I don't know, kind of I guess feel better about the past or something like that rather than your dad's gonna change for you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, okay. The only thing I can say about the movie, it kind of it's not saying that I'm not saying I hate the movie or anything, but it just seems like the lack of a really structured plot for me seems to be I don't know. It's just it seems to be like I said, kind of zigzagging all over the place a little too much for me. So, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I'm just saying it seems to be less focused. It just seemed to be more like you said on the humor than a structured.
Yeah.
The storyline wasn't as strong as as it could have been. I think is what I'm saying.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like it's just very playful movie. It's just kind of bouncing around and being funny. And for me, I'm really just here to laugh at the jokes that they make. I do think that they're funny.
So who oh Will okay, I'm gonna bring this back up again. So according to this, Will Ferrell actually wrote it. Interesting. Didn't know that. I'm not sure. Adam McKay. Else we see is that name? Not sure who that is. Anything else? Yeah, I don't see anything off the top here. Let me go back. I don't, as far as I don't, except for Will Ferrell, I don't know. Oh, and I did know Michael Clark Duncan. I can't remember where I've heard him before. I've seen him somewhere before. I don't remember. I'm not going to look it up either. But no one else really seems to come to mind. Let's see. Who's the, let me go back over here. Some more. Who was this produced? What did Will Ferrell produce it as well? I'm curious.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he did. He was an executive producer. So he was definitely not as annoying as I remember him in certain movies. I think to you, I brought up the movie The Land of the Lost, which came out probably about the same time, maybe a year or two after this, I think. So, and that movie, he was very annoying in that one, extremely annoying. So, but yeah, he's definitely not annoying. It's like sometimes he can be very annoying. What was the other movie he was in that was pretty popular? Newsman. What was that called? About the
Anchorman. Yeah, he was that. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of the time when he was doing his real like comedy gold stuff.
Comedy gold stuff. Okay, so like this is like his pinnacle, his heyday. I don't know. Is that the right way of putting it?
Yeah, yeah. Like I know that he like a lot of comedians who were making movies like this were SNL stars. So he was like a writer on SNL. He was like super funny then. Um and then he has made Step Brothers with John C. Reilly, this movie with John C. Reilly. He's done Anchorman, and then I think there was Holmes and Watson with John C. Reilly as well. He's done some really good funny stuff. I feel like a lot of people would consider him like one of the best comedy movie stars of the recent times.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize a lot of people really like him that much. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh. I knew he was out there. I didn't realize it was that. I didn't know you put him at the top. That was what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast. There's this podcast called Smartless. It's with Will Arnett, who is also it's like with three comedians: Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes, who are all pretty funny. And it's a funny podcast, but since they're all celebrities, they talk to celebrities like in a friendly way, which is an interesting like dynamic. And they had one with Will Ferrell, and they were talking about how much they look up to him, and so yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here it is. Land of the Lost. That's what I was on right there. It was 2009. Oh, no big deal. So I don't want to watch that one for sure. But okay. That's interesting. I just didn't realize it was I know he's popular. I just know he was considered really high up. That's the thing that kind of surprises me about that. So, alrighty. So as far as now you had seen another movie. I know I'd seen it too. Another NASCAR movie, which was Days of Thunder. So are there any
Yeah.
other NASCAR movies that you like? We saw Cars, which is kind of another NASCAR movie of sorts. So is there any other NASCAR type movies that you've seen? I can't.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, there's three that come to mind for this kind of racing. So technically, Cars is not NASCAR, but it's a parody or a satire of the NASCAR racing. So
Right. I looked up NASCAR movies. I feel like Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights are like the two that really come up.
yeah.
But no, other ones I haven't seen. I have seen this documentary. It's not NASCAR, it's F1. It's called Drive to Survive. And that's kind of like a behind the scenes. I only saw the first season, and that's the only reason I know anything remotely about F1. I don't really know that much. It's just like barely the basics. But that's a good series. I think it was on Netflix.
Okay.
I like F1 a little bit better than NASCAR. I don't really have like a strong preference. I don't really care that much, but F1 is cool because I like how they have to go around twists and turns so much. That really seems like first of all terrifying and also very difficult.
Did they say
Not
how?
that, NASCAR, regular NASCAR doesn't seem terrifying and difficult. That just kind of like when you're going around curves at such high speeds, that seems like very intense.
Well, they talk about the fact that the cars, like I think I brought up the fact that the let me bring that car real quick. I remember when I show you here the Dodge Daytona from the other movie. Yeah, the Dodge with the big wing on the top. Remember I told you like the wing is like it's an upside down wing that keeps the car pushed down to the ground, which makes it go faster.
Right.
With F1, did they talk about the fact that F1 also does a similar thing with their cars?
Maybe it was Drive to Survive was more about the drivers and like what they kind of do and the behind the scenes. It was less about the cars themselves. It was more about like the lifestyle of driving in F1.
Okay. Well,
And like the technicalities behind that.
gotcha. What I was leading up to is the fact that you talk about going around those curves and everything. They can go around those curves really fast because basically the car is creating a draft underneath that. Basically, it's like they're glued to the ground essentially. So
Right.
they do this. So it's manipulating the wind around it, the air so much. It's like if similar to how a wing like on that car does. I showed you. It's basically pushing the car to the ground. And if you could drive these cars at 200 miles an hour on upside down, and they were like you had a ceiling that could do that, they could drive upside down and stick to the ceiling. That's how much it's sticking. That's how much it's sticking to the road itself. So that's how they're able to do those in those cars so easily. So
That's cool. So why don't they put loop-de-loops in there? If they can do it, what's the point? If they're not gonna do something cool like that.
You'd have to watch the movie Speed Racer. That's the only place you're gonna see that. Sorry, but it would be cool. You're right.
I mean, if we really want to bring thrill into the sport, and you want to bring more people watching, put some loop-de-loops in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also saw. Well, I saw half of one documentary about an old F1 driver, but I don't really know much about it. It's cool. It's cool.
The show or the racing?
Both. Yeah. I think you might like the show too. I don't know if you have like extra time or something. It's interesting. It's just very interesting to hear about the lifestyle of the race car drivers, because I guess before I watched that show, I didn't really realize how much work it is to be a race car driver and how intense and how much training you have to like go through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And then it's also, I mean, it's also in understanding. I'm sure it goes through that. I mean, all the other stuff as far as how they they go, do they understand how the cars work? I'm sure they understand the basics of how they don't have to be like a mechanic or a technician, but I'm sure they have to know the basics of how the engines and everything in the car itself is structured, right?
Oh yeah, they have. Yeah, they talked about that and how. I mean, I feel like they don't have to be amazing at knowing how to fix every part of it, but I feel like if you're going to be a race car driver, you should at least know how to be able to tell really quickly if something's wrong and what exactly is going wrong, so that you can just like, have your pit crew take care of it really fast.
Right. So, okay. Well, so as far as the movie goes, or Talladega Nights, what kind of? I assume you would recommend this to people. Is that right?
Yes, if you like Will Ferrell movies and comedy movies in general, especially like the comedy style of like Always Sunny, like that show, or like the Step Brothers movie or something like that, then I would definitely recommend this. I would also rate it probably a good 8 out of 10. What would you rate it?
I'd probably go a little lower than that. I'd say for me, probably more like about 7 out of 10. So,
That's fair.
and I would say that I would say I recommend it to people, but I'm not sure if this, since I didn't really laugh out loud or anything, but which doesn't mean I don't think it's not funny. I would probably tell people that I watched it, but I didn't really laugh, but I thought it was still funny at the same time. So not a laugh out loud movie for me at all. So, but it's definitely a movie I would recommend, but I probably wouldn't want to watch it and again anytime soon. So, but I would definitely say it's a decent movie. So
That makes sense. Yeah.
and before we go too far, I got one more video I'd like to show you. I think you might like this one. So this was I actually had 3 videos lined up. The 2 with the cats, plus we have this cat video as well. I think you might like this one. So this is also from Car Hacks? Car Hacks. This one I'll play the sound on. Here we go. So we good here. One more. This one's the best. There you go. Okay, we can
That's
stop.
great.
So, alrighty. Yeah. Anything else you'd like to say about the movie? We can go check our question, of course.
No, I'm pretty sure that pretty much sums it up.
Okay. Let's take a look at our question here. So we got a relatively decent response. 107 responses so far. 2 comments. And let's see. Do you have a landline or home phone? 69% with yes, which is pretty high. So, like you were saying, you don't have one, right?
Right. I was not expecting that.
Yeah. And I told you I got rid of mine, but though technically I have a voice over IP line, but I got that because I'm running a business. I didn't want to run a business on a cell phone because who knows if my cell phone's going to go out of area and not get picked up, and that would cause too many problems. So I had to get something that was more dedicated. So if it wasn't for the fact that if I wasn't running a business, I would still just be sticking with a regular cell phone. So see, 69% with yes, 16% I used to, but do not anymore. 6% I never had one. See, 3% what is a landline, and 7%. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. Well, 7% with I don't care, then 6% with I never had one, and 3% with what is a landline. That was the final one. So let's see, make sure we only have 2 comments. 2, yes. Bro, it's 2022, and those days are over. LOL. Okay. According to this, so 69% overwhelmingly still say yes. So
That's a little suspicious.
yeah. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up here. OD also left a response. Yeah. At first, I selected the option, what is a landline? Because I had never heard of this term, probably because of the language. Language varies, so I had to Google it. I asked myself, how come this thing is not called a residential phone? But I changed the option because I used to have this thing, but now everyone in the house has a cell phone, so we don't find it useful. Okay. So
That makes sense. Residential phone, home phone.
Yeah. And so as far as the word, because I told you about my experience with the word landline, have you always heard the word landline? Is that always?
Yeah, I don't remember not because I refer to like a home phone as a phone that you put in a little carrier and maybe the dial is on the little flat box, that you just set on your kitchen table or something, and then the landline is what is attached to your wall. It has a cord.
Oh, wait, what? Okay, I'm missing something. What was the first one again? Because I'm missing something there. What, describe that first one again? I'm
Like a home phone is like something that you can just set down on. Well, it's what I picture when I think of it. It's just something you can set down on your on a countertop or something,
Okay.
and then you can take it out of the little, like you pick it up off the little holster thing,
Okay.
and then
Hold on a second. Let me bring up phones here real quick. Let me see if I can. I think I know. I think I know what you're saying. I keep on doing that. Where's my? I'll put it right there. Since here we go. Give me a second. What I'll do is I'll just type in. What do you say? Home phone? We were talking about a residential phone. I'll just put home phone first. See what comes up for there.
Yeah, that's what I picture. The little that thing.
Which one? Like any of them, I guess, or
That one that you just hovered over. Yeah.
like this? Okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be like a landline too, though. I mean, it's just Okay.
But that's what I picture in my head when I hear home phone, and then landline I think of as something with a cord, like something with a little spiral cord that you not the twisty one, not that one, but the one it's either like attached to your wall. Just exactly. That's what I think of when I think of landline.
Do they still have phones like this? This is what I had when my family had when I was a kid. It looks almost exactly like that. So,
My parents had one, but it's not a wall one. It had a little spiral cord on it. That was when I was very young, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these were. I think I told you we were talking about phones one time. And I said when I was a kid, like the phone company actually owned the phone lines and owned the phones, and you weren't allowed to add phones. And then that's when during the 80s, government came in because they had too much of a monopoly, so they broke them up, and that's when you could start buying your own phones. You couldn't own your own phones back then. So,
right.
So very, very odd because you tell it to someone nowadays, they're like, "What, really?" So, but and I remember the first caller ID boxes came out in like 1990, and they were like $100. That's especially in like 1990. That was real expensive. So, and you could only buy them at the time through the phone company. And
right.
then there was a special little box. It was just it wasn't part of the phone either. So you had to buy the box, and you had to buy the service just to have the caller ID. Now I think it's all automatic now. So
that's.
So Desen Haas Play 3.0 says hello. Audi says, Z-Moon, could you let the audience know beforehand the movies that are going to be reviewed? If we know what we're going to. Sometimes we decide after the fact, but yeah, if we can, we'll try to do that for sure. So did you have an idea for what you'd like to see next week?
Ooh,
we could do another movie about driving. I got an idea for one if you might want to see it.
Yeah.
The Blues Brothers.
Ooh, I remember. I used to watch that when I was really little. We should definitely watch that. I haven't seen that in so long.
Okay.
It's gonna be like watching it for the first time for most of it.
Okay. The Blues Brothers. By the way, there's a newer version of the movie that added on a whole bunch of like about 15 minutes of stuff that wasn't in the original movie. So I'm not sure which version you're going to watch, but if it is, because the version I have right now is the newer version that has the deleted scenes added back in. So whatever version hopefully we'll both be watching the same one. So
Hopefully. I used to watch it when I was probably 10 when I saw it for the first time. So that would have been like 2011. And we had a DVD. So I'm not sure what timing like that would be, if that DVD would be the one with the extra stuff on it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know myself. I do know that I watched the movie about probably within the past 4 or 5 years, and I was like I've never seen this scene before, and I'd seen the movie a few times. I was like, what is this? And then I looked it up on the internet, and that's when I found out they added all these extra scenes. So yeah, where would you be watching it? On that DVD?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll look it up and I can send you an email to tell you when they added the scenes, so you'll know which one you're looking at. So
Okay.
yeah, cool. And OD asks, what's the name? Yeah, the Blues Brothers. So I'll put it up here. It stars Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. Oops, I can't spell here. And it came out in 1980. So there it is, right there. So. And not the sequel, which came out in 1998, called The Blues Brothers 2000. Not that one. I'm not going to do that one. That's a movie that's not that good. So, and okay, I hope that answers your question. And anything else you'd like to add before we go?
No, just thank you for listening, and being with us and answering the questions and all that stuff and commenting. Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget, if you'd like to help support what we're doing, we have an affiliate link in the comment section below for the description below, that for NordVPN. If you decide to buy that, that would help support what we're doing. And we thank you very much. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.